Racing takes place out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday, the 18th of November 2023. We've got 8 races on the program, and race number 1 is set to get underway at 12:50 over the 1250 meter trip, and it is the start of the bar pot, so don't get left behind. Get your bar pot bets on. On the line is Graham Hawkins, and Graham, how are you doing? Looking forward to the 8 races out at the country course on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be another challenging Hollywoodbets Durbanville race card. First of 8 off at 12:50, so the bipod kicks off in race 1. We've had a number of carryovers at the country course in recent meetings. It hasn't been easy. We've got through some of them reasonably well and others not so well. So let's hope for a good day this coming Saturday.
Race number 1 on the program, Plaza Accord is your 16-10 favourite, returning off a lengthy layoff, 161 days since he was last seen at the racetrack. It is 33-10 about King of Spin, 4-1 about Gravity, 11-2 and Better Ball. Those now, the scratching in the race is number 2, Song to the Moon. So it's a field of just 12 that remain. And Graham, the comments from Peter Muscat not quite positive regarding the chances of Plaza Accord in this contest, and he was obviously heavily supported on debut to get the job done, despite a horse that would probably need a bit more ground.
Yeah, Peter Muscat sends out his first 2 runners for this season's Cape Summer season. Plaza Accord in the first, and Patea and Claw in the Patea in the second. Both of them, he has the same comment. May just need the run after an extended break. So what quite to expect from Plaza Accord is difficult to know. Of course, Richard Fourie has been booked to ride both, so that's significant. Plaza Accord, as you mentioned, was well back to make a winning debut way back in June when beaten half a length by Rainbow Reward. He was backed in from 9-2 to even money, so they were certainly expecting a big run. He hasn't raced since June, so that's quite a while off the track, so we'll have to take his fitness on trust, but Peter Muscat suspecting that he might need a run, and the form of that race hasn't really worked out. The first leg of this bipod is quite tricky. I've included all 4 of the fancied horses. My value in the race would be number 1, 2020 Vision, drawn in pole position. Pelisande Mkholi's made an instant impact in the Western Cape. 2020 Vision last time out ran second behind Raf's Rocket. Third in that race was Call to Unite, who came out and won in rampant fashion during the course of the week. So that form has now been solidly franked, and I think at around 6-1, number 1, 2020 Vision offers very good each-way value. Gravity's got to have a chance. Plaza Accord we've discussed. King of Spin made a promising debut, went second behind Sail the Sky. That form has not stood up, and then in its next start was well beaten by Tanango. There's a little bit of money around for number 12, Solomon Seal, but that's drawn out wide. So my top choice would be 2020 Vision, number 1 on the card. I think makes plenty of appeal at around 6-1. Obviously, huge respect for Plaza Accord, but I'm going all 4 numbers 1, 5, 9, and 4 in order of my preference. Those are the 4 numbers I'm going with in the opening leg of the bipod, which is my bet of choice for this meeting.
Yeah, Graham, I have found some nice value in race number 1 in the form of horse number 1 here from the best of the draws. Moving along to race number 2 on the program, the start of the place accumulator over 1400 meters. It is a maiden plate that will get proceedings underway, and your favorite, joint favorites here, Patea and Speed Racer, both trading at 5-2. It's 4-1 about Lindbergh, 5-1 Guardian the Wall, then it's 7-1 and Better Ball. Those now, horse number 8, Speed Racer, last time out, just finding 1-2 good in the form of Get Impressed. He's a runner that obviously should be at peak fitness for this outing, having his third run after rest. And given the lack of positivity around number 6, perhaps Speed Racer could go well and could maybe get the job done.
I think Speed Racer has got to be the top choice, despite the worst of the draw in a small field. This is a well-endowed, restricted maiden plate, 200,000 rand. So I guess one has to say that it's a disappointing turnout for such a well-endowed maiden plate over 1,400 meters. Again, last time out, beaten narrowly by Get Impressed. Now, 4th in that race was Touched Down from the Vaughan Marshall stable. That came out to win during the course of the week. So that form, again, has very recently, in the course of this week, been franked. So Speed Racer, definitely the first choice. You mentioned that number 6, Patea. The comments are not that strong, and Patea's had 3 starts in KwaZulu-Natal. The form of all 3 of those races, although the Son of Global View was placed in all 3 of them, the form has not really been solidly franked, so there are question marks. Lindbergh from pole position has got to have a chance. Noonday Gun's got to have a chance. Guarding the Wall is improving. So these all have chances. It's a small field. Could be tricky. I think you might get away with Speed Racer as a banker in the place accumulator, but I'm including 3 horses in the second leg of the bipod. I'm going with numbers 8 Speed Racer, 1 Lindbergh, and 3 Guarding the Wall. I was thinking about whether one could bank a Speed Racer, particularly given that touchdown Frank the Form in the week. But I'm going to play it safe here. But I have to say that Speed Racer is clearly my top choice.
Yeah, that's horse number 8 from the Brett Crawford yard that tops the betting boards and is the one for Graham here. But obviously, healthy respect for a couple of others, numbers 1 and 3 in this contest. Moving along to race number 3 on the program, which will be the start of the Pick 6, 1400 meters the distance. A maiden plate for fillies and mares that will get proceedings underway. And having a look at the fixed odds betting market for this contest, it's horse number 9 at 14 to 10, Illerix at 5 to 1, it's Fastnet Filly at 6 to 1, along with Ticking Bomb, it's an 8 to 1, and Better Bar. Those now a form update with horse number 8, Ticking Bomb, running third, beaten 3 lengths behind Your Eyes Only on the 14th of November, which was obviously just 4 days ago prior to a run. So it's going to be interesting to see if she takes her place, and keep a very close eye on scratchings come closer to race time. But the third race on the program, Graham, this filly from the Hollywood Syndicate, is she the one that you are going for?
Yeah, I think she has to be the top choice. Number 9, Kawakazi, she's shown good potential in the first 2 starts. Richard Faree rides for the Harold Crawford, Michelle Ricks stable. But again, she's not without opposition. Ella Ricks definitely found 1,800 meters too far last time, reverts back to 1,400 meters. Her penultimate start when running second to Ticket to Vegas over the track and trip has produced 2 direct winners. So Ella Ricks has got to go in. Ticking Bomb, as you mentioned, if she stands her ground, I was impressed with the way she was finishing off her run on Tuesday, and she was expected to improve. She did improve, and she will continue to improve. And if she's pulled up well, then Godson will probably run her. So if she takes her place, then you've got to respect Ticking Bomb. The interesting horse is number 7, Fastnet Filly. Was given no chance first time out, dropped out to the rear of the field over 12.50, but made good headway in the straight behind School Policy. So not far behind Ticking Bomb, was only about half a length behind Ticking Bomb in that race, and Ticking Bomb has come out to improve, so we can expect Fastnet Filly to come out and improve as well. So Kawakazi, although the top choice, is not going to have matters all her own way. There could be improvement to come from number 2, Lorena, who's drawn well, the daughter of Give Me the Green Light, drawn in gate 2. That could improve. So again, I'm going a little wide in the bipod. I'm including numbers 9, Kawakazi, 7, Ellerix, and 8, Ticking Bomb. If Ticking Bomb stands her ground, if she doesn't, then I will throw in number 6, Fastnet Filly, which is definitely my 4th choice. But Kawakazi, the one to beat. But Ellerix, Fastnet Filly, and Ticking Bomb are certainly going to keep her honest.
There's certainly a couple of horses that you can include if you are looking for a bit of a result in the start of the Pick 6. But if you like the chances of this 3-year-old daughter of William Longsword, Kawakazi from the Harold Crawford Michelle Ricks yard, well then I think you could take your chances and bank her in leg number 1 of that Pick 6 with 2 good runs under the belt. Moving along to race number 4, which will be the start of Jackpot 1, 1,400 meters the distance. 25 past 2 is the off time, and this is a Cape B Stakes for fillies and mares. And Graham, having a look at this contest, there's obviously a few horses that are in good form at the moment, and when having a look at the betting market, give me that Pearl Topset at 2 to 1, Unconquerable Lady 6 to 1 into 4 to 1, 9 to 2 Montalina, it's in 7 to 1, and Better Bar those. Now give me that Pearl. She was a facile winner of maiden on debut, and the manner in which she won, that was very, very encouraging, and I'm sure the yard could have a few nice races in mind for, obviously depending on how she goes on Saturday, but she looks to have a bright chance with just 52.5 on the back.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to make of Give Me That Pearl. She wasn't confidently supported in the market to make a winning debut. She beat the long-time maiden Nail the Boss by nearly 2 lengths, so she got the job done, and she got the job done impressively, and she's from Jarkenstein Stud. She's very well bred, so there's every reason to believe that Give Me That Pearl will continue to improve. But I'm going to throw my lot in with number 7, Montalina. She has a peak run, 3rd run after rest. I thought she was a little unlucky to go down behind lady lookalike over 12.50. Her first run after the break was over 1,000 meters. Her second run over 12.50. She steps up to the 1,400 here. Ashton Aries, who's been in good form, takes a ride. Like Gimme That Pearl, has only got 52.5 on her back. I'm going to row in with number 7, Montalina. Certainly as far as the bipod is concerned, she is my suggested banker. But that being said, there are a couple with chances. Unconquerable Lady won well last time out, and behind her on that occasion was Sidley, who came out to win on Tuesday, and also behind her was Oni San, who's run some very good races in hot fields in defeat recently, running second and third in some decent races. So they've got to have chances. Japanese Rose improved vastly to win her second start. That form needs to be franked. Fun Zone does have a tough task with 61.5 on her back, but she was a good winner over My Flower Fate. She was not winning out of turn. That was a deserved victory after a long spell in the wilderness, but she's very game and she's very consistent, although I do believe carrying 61.5 against these young improving 3-year-olds are going to prove a bit difficult. So I'm going with number 7, Montalina. I'm not suggesting that she's perhaps a pick 6 banker or a jackpot banker, but certainly as far as the place accumulated in the bipod is concerned, I'm going to throw in my lot with number 7, Montalina. I think she represents quite nice value at 9-2. Obviously, we can only wait and see just how good Gimme That Pearl really is going to be. And then, of course, Unconquerable Lady from draw 1. That's got to have a bright chance. But, Rahil, I'm throwing my lot in with Montalina.
Yeah, Montalina at around 9-2 in the market could be some nice value, especially if a couple of these runners find support. Montalina happens to drift out, well, then you are sitting on a nice price for a filly that was heavily supported last time out and failed to get the job done. But Graham going in once again here at 52.5 kgs on the back. He's hoping that this filly can get it right in race number 4. Race number 5 on the program, a class 2 event over 1,800 meters. 3 o'clock is the off time. And when we have a look at this contest, Sugar Mountain tops the boards at 22-10. It's 4-1 about Rockpool, 4-1 Ponta Pietra. Baratheon is at 5-1. It's then 7-1 and Better Bar those. Now, there's quite a few nice horses that step out in this contest, Graham. This horse, Sugar Mountain, he's a 7-time winner. He's an individual that enjoys Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He goes the distance for the first time, which could just be a question mark because you've got horses that will be suited to the trip, the likes of Ponta Pietra, who his debut run, well, last time out, his first run back in the Cape, I thought it was very disappointing when running closer to last than first, and I think he's better than that performance because what we saw from him in that pinnacle at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, when he absolutely rooted, when he absolutely put his opposition to the sword there, I think he's a horse that could be slightly under the radar.
Well, it's a very interesting race, this. Ponta Pietra ran behind Sugar Mountain when making his seasonal debut on his first run as a gelding over 1,400 meters. He was beaten 6 3/4 lengths. Now, in the same race, Rockpool was 10th and a half length just in front of Ponta Pietra. They were both making their seasonal debuts over 1,400 meters. They both obviously step up to the 1,800 meters here and will be much better suited. Rockpool won the Politician Stakes earlier this year over 1,800 meters, and Ponta Pietra, although he's won over 1,400 meters, he certainly showed huge improvement when stepping up to 1,750 and 1,950. So this 1,800 will be right up his alley. I'm expecting huge improvement from both Ponta Pietra and Rockpool. Rockpool is in fact my first choice, and I've backed him up in the bipod with number 10, It's Raining William. His stable companion, JP van der Merwe, continues to enjoy a very good strike rate for the Snaith team. So here, I'm relying on Team Snaith to get me through the bipod with numbers 2, Rockpool, and 10, It's Raining William. But I do have healthy respect for number 7, Ponta Pietra. I'm expecting a much better run. So what of Sugar Mountain? Well, as you mentioned, the trip for me is a big question mark. There's no doubting that he's a solid handicapper. He was well clear of the likes of Ponta Pietra and Rockpool over 1,400 meters, but over 1,800 meters, that's going to be a different kettle of fish. He has won over 1,600 meters, but I think we can all agree that on all known form to date, his best trip is 1,400 meters. That is his favorite trip. He has stretched out to 1,600 meters on occasion. He's also been beaten over 1,600 meters. I could be way off the mark here. I think he's going to struggle to get home over 1,800 meters. I'm happy to be proven wrong. We've got to have an opinion. I just think the way that he races over 1,400 meters, that's his specialist distance. I think he's going to be vulnerable here, but obviously needs to be considered for exotic permutations and certainly trifectas and quartets. Baratheon, only start over the course and distance, was a win. Richard Faree takes the ride, and that is significant. So this is a really interesting race. If there's going to be a complete boil over, it could come from number 8, My Bestie, with just 52 kilograms on its back. But I'm going with the Snaith team here. I'm going with number 2, Rockpool, as my first choice. Number 10, It's Raining William, as my second choice. Then Ponte Pietra and Sugar Mountain, giving him the benefit of the doubt to certainly be involved as far as the fight for trifecta and quartet money is concerned. Baratheon and My Bestie possibly the next best. But I'm really expecting that both Rockpool and Ponte Pietra will improve significantly, and I think Rockpool may just come out on top.
Just listening to Graham there, it doesn't sound like a cut and dry race, because you've obviously got a lot of horses in with winning chances here, and Graham likes the Snape duo, Rockpool and It's Raining William. 4-1, 7-1 is the current price about the two respective runners from the Snape yard, and let's see how they go in the 5th race on the program. I think Ponte Pietra could show his hand now, having his second run after a layoff. Race number 6. This is a fillies and mares event over 1,600 meters. It is Cape Racing, follow Cape Racing on social media stayers race, and fixed odds betting market. My Flower Fate 9-2 into 7-2. Love is a Rose at 4-1. 5-1 Silver Links. Royal Invitation 10-1 into 8-1. 8-1 Gold Poker Game. Lady Silvano. Secret Identity 10-1 and Better Bar those. Graham, this is a trappy contest unless you found something for us.
No, I was going to rely on you to get us through race 6. This is by far the most difficult race on the card. I've gotten 6 horses in the bipot and hope to survive. I don't even, it'd be great to double up, but I just want to survive. It's a nightmare of a race. Love is a Rose is your marginal favourite, probably entitled to be favourite. Richard Faree has ridden it 3 times for 2 wins, and I just worry about the quicker going. I worry about the firmer going. She showed really useful form when the cut was there was a bit of cut in the ground during the winter, but maybe she goes on any going. So Love is a Rose has got as good a chance as any, but there are so many here, Rahil, with chances. Number 1, Silver Links. You've got to fancy that a little bit. There's been a nibble for number 4, Royal Invitation. You've got to ignore that. Gold Poker Game. Now, interestingly, it's going to be really interesting to see how Ponte Pietra and Rockpool go in the previous race, because they ran 10th and 12th behind Sugar Mountain over the 1,400 meters on their seasonal debut, and Gold Poker Game was in between them in position number 11. Now, if we're expecting Rockpool and Ponte Pietra to show significant improvement, then why not the same comment for Gold Poker Game? She's got to be competitive in this race over this trip, but does have the steadier of 61.5 on her back. Double Check could surprise. My Flower Fate is very game, very consistent. Love is a Rose, we've mentioned. Lady Silvano chance. Interesting runners. Number 12, Secret Identity. No secret that Ashwin Reynolds thinks highly of the 3-year-old daughter of Canford Cliffs, stepping up to 1,800 meters. That's going to be interesting. So for me, she's an interesting run in the race, and Supreme Dream in with a chance. From a pick 6 in the jackpot point of view, this is for me an absolute field race. As I've mentioned, we'll share the numbers a little later on. I've got 6 horses in the bipot, and I hope to survive. I have no clear-cut first choice in race 6. I think it's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's a very tough race, and the right way to play, go the field in those exotics, because I think you could get about any result in this contest. It's a field of 13, field of 12 that are set to line up at this point in time, and it will be interesting to see how it all unfolds, whether the 3-year-olds will be able to rise up to the top or whether the 4-year-olds will dominate this contest. Likely that the older horses will dominate, but nonetheless, it's going to be a fascinating race. Race number 7, 1,600 meters, a Class 3 event. The penultimate race on the program, 4:10 is the off time, and it's a field of 9 that will line up for this event. Kariaku is at 33-10, 7-2 Future Turn, 9-2 Pomodoro's Jet. Rosh Kadesh at 9-2, it's then 6-1 about Tamarisk Tree, and then you get an 8-1 and Better Bar those. Now, this horse, Rosh Kadesh, he's a runner that made eye-catching progress last time out over 1250, a distance that's short of his best. 1,600 meters should suit him now that he's a lot stronger. He's a more mature horse, and he's got a 2-draw, Graham. And obviously, the reason for Craig Zaki not riding is because the Kaya Stables have got a horse here. So I'm not going to read into the fact that Louis rides for Dean Canamere and Craig rides for Brett Crawford. I think Rosh Kadesh could perhaps be the right horse in this contest, just based on his last start. But obviously, Kariaku, he's run behind Monty and looks all the better now that Montian has come through to win a feature.
Not only did Montian come through to win a feature, but the third place horse on that day was Future Swing, and that came out to win a good race in Port Elizabeth. So the winners franked the form, and the third horses franked the form. Richard Faree takes the ride for the Eric Sandstrain Kariaku, and he does set the standard here, Kariaku. But it's a trappy little race, as the betting suggests. Only 9 runners in this Class 3 handicap. You've picked out number 2, Rosh Kadesh. We've always heard from Dean that the older he gets, the more mature he gets, the better he's going to get. So you've got to like the fact that he was promising run first up for the season, and the first up is a gelding. He will strip a lot fitter. He will go well. So you've got to respect number 2, Rosh Kadesh. You're absolutely right. Craig Zaki is contracted to ride for Kaya Stables. So he has to ride Pomodora's Jet. But maybe he's happy to ride Pomodora's Jet, because that also made a cracking first appearance as a gelding. And after a break, went 5th behind Sunday's, motoring home. He was absolutely motoring home over the last furlong, and would have actually won that race in another couple of strides. He steps up to 1,600 meters here, so Pomodora's Jet has got to be very competitive. You might get away with just the 3 horses in this race. If you're having to narrow down because we've gone wide in the previous, then I would be sort of happy to lean towards 1 Pomodora's Jet, 2 Rosh Kadesh, and 5 Kariaku. But of course, it's a risk to ignore the likes of 4 Future Turn. His form is solid. Form is very competitive. He was behind Kariaku in that run behind Montine. So you could argue that Kariaku should again have his measure. Night Ruler might just need 1 more to tighten him up, and the same comment would apply to Tamarisk Tree, stable companion to Rosh Kadesh. Tamarisk Tree, just recently located to the Western Cape, wasn't a bad first up run, but you could throw a blanket over that field behind Sundays. So Pomodora's Jet should emerge from that run having benefited from the outing. Same comment for Rosh Kadesh. They've got Kariaku to beat. But 1, 2, 5 followed by 4, those would be my top 3, with Kariaku still the one to beat, but clearly healthy respect for Pomodora's Jet, Rosh Kadesh.
3 horses to play around in race number 7 on the program. Race number 8, the final race on the day, Hollywoodbets Bright Class 4, and this is over 1,600 meters for the fillies and mares, and it's a field of 12 that will line up. Favorite is Rainbow Lorikeet at 33 to 10. Call Me Getrix 4 to 1. Princess Izzy at 5 to 1. Meta 6 to 1 into 5 to 1. 7 to 1 Enchanting Choice. This filly Fatal Gem 20 to 1, down 8 to 1 from the Brett Crawford yard. Horse number 10, Fatal Gem. Now, she won a maiden last time out, so that is quite an interesting move for this filly. But Candice Bass Robinson, she's got the top 2 in the market here. Call Me Jetrix and Rainbow Lorikeet. Now, this filly, Rainbow Lorikeet, was well fancied and heavily supported last time out to win straight out the maidens, when running into 3rd position, doing her best work at the finish. And Call Me Getrix wasn't too far behind her, but on that run, from what I saw on that performance, I think Call Me Getrix will turn the form around with her, and I think she'll have a number come Saturday, race number 8.
I also prefer number 5, Call Me Jetrix, of the 2 stable companions, and not much to choose as you've said. But if you go back to when they raced as maidens, when Call Me Jetrix won its maiden, Rainbow Lorikeet was nearly a length back in 3rd spot. Rainbow Lorikeet came out to frank the form by winning next time out. Then they both reappeared in the same race on the 10th of October, and they were separated by a head. So there's clearly not much to choose between Call Me Jetrix and Rainbow Lorikeet. But I slightly prefer Call Me Jetrix as well, but they should both make their presence felt. The move for Fatal Gem is interesting. She was well backed to win her maiden, 9 to 2 into 9 to 4, so they were expecting her to win her maiden, so she's probably matured nicely. One would expect that from her pedigree, being from My Master, My Fate out of a mare by Trippy, but she showed good form as a 2-year-old. 4th behind Montalina was a good effort. The 5th on debut behind Double Grand Slam. She's a very, very good filly is double Grand Slam, so that form is good. So there could be plenty more upside for number 10, Fatal Gem, and 20 to 1 was probably the wrong price in the first place. Enchanting Choice, also a recent maiden winner. But the question here, Rahil, are we giving up on Meta? So before you answer that, I'm going to say I'm not. Meta is going to be given one more chance by me, and I'm relying on Richard Farid to succeed where others have not. He rides Meta for the first time in his career. She's been runner-up in her last 3 starts. She's clearly a difficult ride because you can't hit the front too early. As soon as you hit the front too early, then she throws in the towel. But surely she's going to win a race one of these days. So my top choice in a difficult fillies handicap again would be Meta, ahead of Call Me Jetrix, Ladenborough, Lorikeet, and Fatal Gem. But I'm going to give Meta one more chance and hope that Richard Farid can get the very best out of her.
Graham, is it fair to make the statement that if Candice Bass-Robinson thinks that Red Palace is a filly's Guineas perspective, that Meta given Red Palace 1.5 kgs, beaten 3.5 lengths, that run could be good enough to see her beat the stable companions to Red Palace, Call Me Jetrix and Rainbow Lorikeet?
I'm sure that Meta has the ability to win this race, but like I said, she's a very tricky race. She's got to be produced at just the right time. When she ran second in a penultimate start by My Flower Fate, who runs earlier, she looked all over a winner. The race was at her mercy. And in fact, she grabbed defeat from the jaws of victory in that race. So she's not an easy ride. She's got the ability, so she can't be a confident choice, but she's quite easy to back at 5 to 1. It's interesting for me that Richard Farid takes the ride. But yes, there may be a line there, but I'm not sure it's a solid line. So you've got to have healthy respect for the Candice Bass-Robinson runners, Call Me Jetrix and Rainbow Lorikeet. I was a little bit concerned about the way some of her runners have performed over the last couple of meetings, running well below best, but then others have performed okay. So we're going to take their well-being on trust and expect Call Me Jetrix and Rainbow Lorikeet to run according to their best form. You've got to respect the market support for Fatal Gem, but I'm going to I keep saying this, I'm going to give Meta one more chance.
One more chance for Meta in the final race on the day, and hopefully she can come through and get her 3rd career victory, but a couple of others in with chances. And off the Candice Bass-Robinson too, I think Call Me Jetrix, both Graham and myself believe that this filly could just be the right one off the 2. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Graham will take us through suggested bet, which is a buy pot, which begins at 12.50 in race number 1 on the program. Graham, take it away with your buy pot.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a bigger perm than I would normally suggest, but it's trappy. I've gone with Montalina as a banker. If you want to narrow this down, you might want to take your chances with Speed Racer as a banker in the second leg. But here we go. I've gone with 4 runners in the first leg. My value selection for the race 1, 2020 Vision number 1, number 4, Gravity, number 5, Plaza Record, and number 9, King of Spin, taking no chances in that first leg. I am expecting to double up, but I want to make sure that I get through. The second leg, we've gone with numbers 1, Lindbergh, 2, Noonday Gun, 3, Guarding the Wall, and 8, Speed Racer. Speed Racer, for me, the one to beat, and could be a banker if you want to tighten up the cost of that perm. Obviously, I've left out Patea, as had 3 promising runs in KZN, but Peter Muscat suggesting she might need the run. Third leg, numbers 7, 8, and 9, Ellerix, Ticking Bomb, and Kawakazi. That's on the understanding that Ticking Bomb takes her place after running well in the week. If she gets scratched, then I would include number 6, Fastnet Philly, as a substitute selection there. Then banker number 7, Montalina. Of course, healthy respect for Give Me That Pearl and Unconquerable Lady. But Montalina, 3rd run after rest, peak run, I'm expecting her to go well. Then just numbers 2 and 10. Here's where I'm taking a bit of a chance with the Snaith team. Number 2, Rock Pool, and number 10, It's Raining William. And that 6th race is a nightmare. I said I was going with 6 horses. I'm going with numbers 1, Silver Links, 5, Gold Poker Game, 9, My Flower Fate, 10, Love Is a Rose, 11, Lady Silvana, and 12, Secret Identity. And if I get that far, I'm certainly just hoping to get through. Doubling up would be an absolute bonus.
Certainly does look to be quite a trappy card out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. The exotics could be worth a fair difference, and maybe those are the bets that you want to get involved in. Graham has given us a buy pot that we can get involved in as well, and it all begins in race number 1 at 12.50. Graham, thanks very much for your time, and all the best over the weekend. Enjoy the racing out at the country track.
Thank you, Rahil. It's going to be a lovely day's race.
Thanks to Graham for his time, and all the best, guys, with racing out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday.